So it's fantastic to see two randomized phase 3 trials being presented here at ASCO, looking at the role of immune checkpoint blockade in patients who have undergone surgery and postoperative radiotherapy for cutaneous squamous cell carcinoma. This is a really difficult population of patients who suffer multiple recurrences of their disease. And on occasions, this disease can metastasize and actually can become a significant health problem, and indeed even a fatal outcome can arise from this disease. So in the two studies, they looked at two different immune checkpoint blockers, both of them targeting PD-1 as the target. In the first study that is presented by Danny Rishin, they looked at patients who had completed definitive treatment, surgery, and postoperative radiation therapy for cutaneous squamous cell carcinoma, and those patients were randomized between receiving Cemiplimab or a placebo treatment, and they followed those patients subsequently to see what happened to the patients in terms of outcomes. What they were able to demonstrate, strikingly, was a significant reduction in event-free survival in the patients allocated to the Cemiplimab arm. Now, at the same time, we're seeing data from KEYNOTE-630, which was a study of Pembrolizumab given as an adjuvant treatment following, again, surgery and postoperative radiation therapy for a population of patients with cutaneous SCC. And interestingly, in this population of patients presented by Jenny Lee, what we see actually is there is no benefit in terms of the progression-free survival outcome for the patients after being allocated to Pembrolizumab. Interestingly, when we look at the groups of patients who are randomized into these studies, there are hints that there are differences between the study populations. So I don't think we necessarily need to conclude that Cemiplimab is good and Pembrolizumab is bad, because both of those agents are approved in relapsed metastatic cutaneous squamous cell carcinoma. I think it is more likely when we drill down into the data and when we see the definitive publications, what we will learn is that the group of patients in the C-POST study were more likely to derive benefit from adjuvant immunotherapy. In contrast, the patients in KEYNOTE-630 most likely had a form of disease that was not so amenable to deriving benefit from immune checkpoint blockade. It'll be fascinating to review those data when they are fully published and for us to analyze where the learnings are in terms of how we may be able to take this forwards. It's important to recognize that in the studies, the overall survival data do not show that there is a benefit for giving adjuvant immune checkpoint blockade. And given the fact that many of these patients are elderly, have comorbidities, and these treatments are expensive, and also recognizing that the treatments, when given in relapsed metastatic disease for those patients who do develop a relapse, those treatments are often very effective. I think there is a very difficult decision to be made here as to whether or not these now become the standard of care, or whether or not we try to isolate a particularly high-risk population of patients for whom this may be sensible. There is much work to be done in the future, but this is a really important starting point.